Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
we're
Welcome
back, and we're going to look at a few things from Reddit. I'm excited to go over some of the content we have here. In particular, the one that we're starting out here is one that I'm probably the most excited about,
as
and it's
well.
a Bard College that we're going to look at first here.
And this is by creator user slash NotTheSmoooze. We've looked at NotTheSmooze's work before. You can find more at tiny.cc/smooze with 3 O's. And yeah, we've looked at NotTheSmooze's stuff before, and it's always awesome. And then, I mean, just looking at this right now, this looks awesome right off
Yeah,
the bat.
looks great. The theme, without having read the flavor text of it yet, just the idea of a college of Elegy being just kind of like presumably a kind of an undead, a bard that deals with undead and death and transitioning and mourning and stuff. That's a very cool archetype for a bard that, again, I'm sold on before we have read the flavor text. But let's read the flavor text too, Jeremy. You want to dive into this thing?
Yeah, the College of Elegy teaches a precious lesson. Immortality is everywhere. Immortality is in every moment your deeds are remembered. Immortality is every life changed by your own. Immortality is stories. These bards have a grim duty to keep the dead alive by sharing their tales, calling ectoplasmic energy into the shape of echoes resembling the departed. Okay, that was like went in one direction, and then the word ectoplasmic came out, and I'm like, oh boy.
The word ectoplasmic is a little jarring in the context of a very kind of like spiritual and very like serene opening to this. But I like this flavor a lot.
Absolutely. You mind if I start out with gravesite, Pete, and then we'll swap off?
Just a one last note. Yeah, I'm down for that for sure. One last note. Just I feel like they could have really kept the cohesion of this better if the word ectoplasmic had just been like
I know.
mystic energy.
Yeah, right. Otherworldly,
It's exactly that one word. Everything else is spot on.
even it's not a bad word. It's just a bit jarring.
Yeah,
And
it just feels
maybe as we
more
go.
sci-fi than mystical.
Yeah, exactly. It feels too Ghostbusters. But let's talk about gravesite. Starting at third level, you can bear witness to a dead creature's last breaths. If you touch a corpse and spend 1 minute in a meditative trance, you gain a vision of the last moments of its life. The corpse must have a brain or a skull. You experience the vision of the dead creature's perspective from the dead creature's perspective, gaining perfect recall of everything it saw or did in the moments before its death. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Interesting.
That is very interesting. It's a very it's a potent feature.
Yeah.
But it's also a very like story-driven feature. I'm not like I want to read more of it. I don't want to evaluate that yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about with there, I think.
The lot to unpack.
Last Dance. Cool name. When you join the College of Elegy at 3rd level, you learn to use performance to inspire even the restless dead. As a bonus action or a reaction, when a creature you can see within 60 feet of you dies, you can expend 1 use of your bardic inspiration to summon an echo. See the echo stat block, which appears in an unoccupied space you can see within 60 feet of you. An echo is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands and often resembles a ghostly imitation of a creature who died nearby. In combat, an echo takes its turn on your initiative. When you summon an echo, and as a bonus action on each of your turns, you can command one echo you control to take one of the actions in its stat block, or the dash, disengage, help, hide, or search action. If you don't command an echo, that echo takes the dodge action. An echo can move and use its reaction without your command. An echo disappears after 1 hour. If it is reduced to 0 hit points, or if you banish it, no action required. And then there's a stat block for what the echo is right here.
Yeah. Which very low armor class, a very few hit points. So this is definitely a pale reflection of whatever you are summoning it of. Flying speed. It's got. I'm surprised it has such a high strength. Actually, I expected that to be a 2, or maybe a 1. Performance +4. Okay.
Interesting.
If he can dance.
Last Dance makes sense. Immune to necrotic
Immune
and
to necrotic.
yeah, some condition immunities that check out there, I think.
Yeah.
Dark vision, 60 feet. Understand the languages you speak, though rarely speaks when not commanded to. Um, and
And then incorporeal movement. Oh, and I see inspired. The following numbers increase by 1 when your proficiency bonus increases by 1. That goes AC, its skill bonuses, and the bonuses to hit and damage with necrotic touch. Gotcha. I see. This is actually seemingly quite potent.
it is
Bunch of these.
it's definitely good if you. The thing is, if you get a bunch of them, you can still only use one at a time.
Yeah.
And you have to use a reaction each turn. And how long do they last? An hour.
1 hour.
So I guess there's
The thing that gets me on these guys. I mean, first you're getting them at 3rd level.
Yeah.
And I think they're balanced out in combat, at least by the low AC and hit points. But an extra D6 plus 2 is pretty good, actually, at 3rd level, like for the 3rd level.
Yeah, with a +4 to hit, it's not.
And it's necrotic damage. The thing that gets me, though, is incorporeal movement. That's a scary feature to the ability to scout through walls and stuff using these echoes.
That's very powerful for level 3.
Yeah.
To just get that.
I think the ability for them to like communicate with you is the weakness here. I think. I'm sorry, not the weakness is maybe too powerful.
Yeah, I think that if you just took and that's exactly it. It's if the incorporeal movement can't exist alongside that ability to scout.
Communicate. Well, let's keep on moving. Funeral rites you get at 6, because I think this subclass, although incredibly cool, is going to have a kind of overarching problem of it might be too good at some of that out of combat mystery solving with being able to see exact moments of a creature's you know what I mean, knowing everything, and then being
perfect.
able to
the phrase "perfect recall" is a lot.
Yeah, I think there's going to be an overarching theme in this class, but. Funeral rites. At 6th level, you learn the speak with dead spell and 2 other necromancy spells of your choice from any class. Ooh, I love that. Each spell must be of a level for which you have spell slots or a cantrip. Additional spells count as bard spells for you, but don't count against the number of spells you know. Additionally, you can cast a speak with dead as a ritual. Man, I love that.
That's a great feature.
Really good feature. Just the idea of here is something that's like the College of Lore's also beloved additional magical secrets, but more limited. You can only pick necromancy, and that's why you get that little bit of extra speak with dead. I love it. That's a really well balanced and designed feature.
Agreed. I have nothing to say about it. It's great. Flavorful. Yeah. Everything about it's great.
I might do a design like that in the future. That's so good.
Let's look at Requiem.
Yeah, Pete, take them away.
Starting at 14th level, you can spend 1 minute calling on the echo of a legend. The legend uses the statistics of a gladiator, Monster Manual page 346, though its type is undead. It is friendly to you and your companions, and it obeys your commands. Alternatively, you can speak the name of a dead creature with which you are familiar, briefly returning it to life for one last goodbye. If the creature is willing, it returns to life with all its hit points in the form of an undead spirit. Other than its type, a spirit uses the dead creature statistics, has its memories, and has any equipment other than artifacts or sentient items the dead creature carried when it died. The spirit is free to act as it chooses. The creature you summon appears in an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of you. The creature and all its equipment vanish after 10 minutes, if it is reduced to 0 hit points, or if you use an action to banish it. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. After calling a dead creature's name, their echo fades, and you can't call on that creature again.
Interesting.
This is the kind of thing that I very much like, which you couldn't put in 5e.
Way too powerful.
This is a home game feature that's really cool. And that is, everything from basically the second paragraph and the third paragraph. If you cut all of that out and you just look at it as you can summon a gladiator, I think it's probably fine at that.
Oh yeah.
The rest of this, just the ability to like, oh well, this character died and like a couple sessions ago, and I want to bring them back for the battle. That's super flavorful and awesome for a campaign. But also, it's completely game breaking and is a huge amount of load to put on the DM. To like, for example, you could also just say, "I summoned the legendary hero Arnok of Myth, who died fighting against the Peg," and the DM's like, "Well, I didn't build a stat block for him, but I did say he could kill any monster in one hit." Like, there's so many issues, but it is so cool. Like,
yeah, it might be like if you wanted to, if they wanted, apologies, you not the Smooze. If not the Smooze wanted to bring this in a more genericized direction, right? You could say maybe like gladiator or mage stat block, and that's what the returned spirit uses. And it is, well, if they were a super powerful spellcaster, right? Or something like that. But I guess the idea is like, what if you bring back a dragon, right? Like you could bring back a dragon with this.
Yeah.
If you were like pals with the dragon.
Yeah, and it does specify that like if you're bringing back something with this that is like it just uses its own discretion. So if you're bringing back like a villain to fight with you, you can't really do that. You have to bring back an ally because the villain would presumably just kill you.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. What if the evil dragon was killed by a different evil guy?
Well, that's again a very cool storytelling moment. If you're running this in a home game and you're okay with what this does, it just couldn't be official content.
I agree. I like Sword's comments. I summoned Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's like you thought you had bested me, tearing my blue eyes in half, Seto.
So let's go back through this guy. Gravesight is I think you actually kind of hit the nail on the head. It's just a little bit too much information, even if you're only using it once per short rest. Especially like you're gonna get Speak with Dead a little bit later, but this almost feels like a better version of Speak with Dead that you're getting at level 3.
The thing that this does that I think is the crux of the issue, is the purpose of something like Gravesight or what was the other one that there was, and the Echo, right? From a RP explore puzzle solving, like, oh, there's a mystery kind of perspective, is it's a little too effective, a little too potent for that, right? It's like it's meant to be a fun tool, especially Gravesight, right? Like, oh, the mystery of how did the person die, right? And it's almost too good at that.
Like, I think almost a more interesting way to interpret Gravesight might be if you want to see like witness. So you can bear witness to a dead creature's last breaths. I feel like you could do something like you learn the manner in which they died, but not the details of how it happened. Then phrase it something like you learned like, oh, they were stabbed in the back, or oh, you learned that this creature died by poison damage. You don't necessarily learn that, like, you don't see through their eyes and see their killer, but you learn that they were stabbed. Like, I think that might be a way to make something like this work, and I'm sure there's a lot more equally good or better ways to do it as well. But
even beyond that, in a campaign with, like, let's say you're playing a game, you meet every week, there are 4 players, right? And the Dungeon Master. If the Dungeon Master, like, is attentive and knows that you're playing this homebrew class and knows your features, I don't think this feature is a problem at all. Because they know it, they get it, they understand it's coming. But in the case of homebrew, I feel like that's actually not always the case. A lot of the times, if a player is playing a homebrew subclass in a campaign, the Dungeon Master doesn't actually know it all that well. It's something that, like, the player says, oh, I want to play this thing. The DM reads it once, says, all right, that looks fine, and they play it. So that, I think, is where the distinction, like, if I were running this in my home game, and I was a DM for it, I would want to pay specific attention to a feature like that.
Yeah. I mean, I would be, if a player had this feature and would be on the fence about whether or not I'd be okay with running this in a game, you'd be creating situations where, oh, I know there's going to be a bit dead body up there, and I have a fun little scene that I've already planned for when they use that feature on it to like
Exactly, right? It's
create
like
that
you can actually
mystery.
be pre-prepping these narrative moments. And actually, I was thinking a little bit about this echo. How different is this third level feature from a sixth level feature?
Um,
Right, because like I'm thinking the Hexblade Warlock can do the same thing but gets a Spectre. And
I believe the Spectre is better than this, but
yeah, well, and I think the Spectre lasts longer. It's stronger. It still has the incorporeal movement. I'm not sure this is actually as strong as I was thinking it could be.
I think it's close. I think actually the only thing that I have an issue with there's two use cases. One, the incorporeal movement speaking thing. That's definitely problematically powerful for investigation. But also, I mean, there's like a really heavy abuse case where you intentionally kill a bunch of creatures and have them, and then you go into a fight and you can set up sort of just like a kill opportunity attack field because these things are allowed to make op attacks. So
you can do some weird stuff with it, yeah.
So it can get a little bit funky if you're like really trying to abuse it and not using it for the cool like I summon echoes of the dead feature that it's kind of intended to be. As you can tell, it's intended to be by the rest of the design here.
Oh, wait a moment. Gino in chat, apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Please correct me. It says a dead creature with which you're familiar. Which one is that?
Referring to Requiem, I believe. Alternatively, you can speak the name of a dead creature with which you are familiar.
Gotcha. Okay,
so I think
that brings into
each other.
A huge, yeah, that's something that I see as a problem, or not a problem, an ambiguity in 5e in other features. Spells like sending, right? 'Cause you can only send to a creature that you're familiar with. What is familiarity? And I've seen some really, really lax interpretations of it, and I've seen some very strict interpretations of it. But yeah, I guess that's a really good point. That's a place where this feature gives a lot of flexibility to the dungeon master in limiting that use.
Yeah, it is entirely the discretion of how your game has decided to define familiar, because maybe that villain thing that we were talking about wouldn't work. Maybe it has to be someone that you were personally close with, or alternatively, maybe again, like it might be the interpretation familiar. Oh, you've heard of them, you're familiar with them. Like there's a lot of ways that could go.
I still think it's a little weird that they get all of their equipment that aren't artifacts. That's a little strange to me.
Yeah,
I kind of get it, but it's a little weird. But thank you very much for bringing that up. Again, apologies if Jinnel is incorrect there. Tell me if I'm saying it wrong. But I'm really thankful that you brought that up because I totally missed that. I missed that word the first time around. And that makes, I think, a world of difference on this feature.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know if it changes how I feel about it, but it definitely gives it shows intent to bind that a bit.
I would say that feature, that like word alone there makes it from a totally too powerful feature for the most part to like, you know what? I think this is a pretty good homebrew feature, assuming, the Dungeon Master does their due diligence and
agreed in that regard.
Reads the content. I love it, frankly.
Anyway, the Last Dance, I think maybe take the reactions off of the echoes. I just don't think give them reactions, and then I actually think it's fine other than make them not speak and make them not take reactions, and I think you're good.
I think I agree. I just don't understand why it can't just be the one, right? Why it's like you can have more than one. Is I guess the part where like it's just a little weird to me. Right?
Really, the reason I think that you can have more than one, Jeremy, is I think that because it comes down to their +4 performance, where you get to create a choir of the dead.
I guess so. Or I guess
honestly what I think. Yeah, honestly what I think it's going for is that vision of you like playing, like the image here at the bottom is so evocative. It's the bard like playing their flute through a graveyard, and
Yep.
all the spirits get up and dance. Like, I actually think that's why they want you to do a bunch of them.
You know what? Fair enough. And
I think that's a good
thank
enough
you.
reason too.
Jin Hall, thank you very much. Apologies, my tongue is floating.
They want to create the scene
That
at the end
scene,
of Haunted
yeah.
Mansion ride at Disney.
I'm into that.
Yeah, that's the College of Elegy. I really like the design here. A little bit too much RP power. I think just the balance of it is pretty reasonable.
God, what a weird thing to be saying. Too much role-playing power. How rare is it that you say that, right?
Yeah. That is definitely rare, but it can happen, and this is an example. But again, great design overall.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Just to good enough that I would like to, Jeremy, could we just rubric this outrageously fast?
Oh my goodness, Pete, I don't even have the rubric open.
Oh, we don't even need to. Space, check. Flavor, check. Design, iffy. Balance,
check. I think design's check. Nothing here is weird. Nothing here breaks design to me.
Do you see, for me, do we want to count balance on the dead creature feature? Or I guess the balance is the issue, is the thing. So 3. It's probably a 3, because the balance would lose it on the gravesite and the speaking.
I think the gravesite's playability. I think the Requiem is
I think the gravesite is balance.
I think both of those are playability. I think this is 4.
You think it's a 4?
Yeah. I think this is 4.
Also,
welcome, Zoppelty Gaming. You must see all the things.
Welcome. Anyway, that's the College of Elegy. Jeremy, 3.5.
If you must, but I'd give it a 4.
I must. Well, it's better. It's just very good. It's just very good is the thing. But
and this was created by the user NotTheSmoooze on Reddit. You can find more of their work at tiny.cc/smooze with 3 O's. It's actually the second thing we've looked at from NotTheSmoooze, and it's they're very good.
Yeah, they're a good designer.
Very quality. It looks beautiful too. It's only very good. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, that's our criticism of it. Well, it wasn't perfect.
It's very good is the thing, is what it comes down to. By which
good criticism to have.
Yeah, I want to rate it higher because it's so good. But I think there's just a couple of small changes. Do you want to look at another one, Jeremy? I think we probably got time for one more. I don't know where you're at. I would prefer to end at 11 tonight.
Yeah. Let's hop over to our next